Let's talk about the Hoka One One Clifton 7. So let's jump into some specs of this shoe. So they have an open engineered breathable mesh for better airflow. So the entire upper has been redesigned with this new mesh. They call it the open engineered sandwich mesh. It has a new vertical pull tab at the back for easier entry and exit. It has an early stage rocker to offer a smooth ride. It has their EVA midsole, which offers the famous Hoka cushioning. It has strategic high abrasion rubber zones to reduce the weight. The drop is 5mm and these weigh 257 grams. These shoes retail for £125 in the UK. There is 8 colorways available, I believe, and you can also get these in a wider version, which are only available in 4 colors. This particular shoe is not the wide version. So I have this shoe in an 8.5, which is half a size up from all of my other running shoes, and unfortunately I still think it's a little bit too small. I would have preferred to go for the wider version, but unfortunately I didn't go for that. So this is the normal version, half a size up. So as far as I can see online, pretty much everyone recommends buying Hoka shoes half a size up. So yeah, do with that what you will. Okay, cool, so let's jump into a couple of things that I really like about this shoe. So the first thing is the tread. The tread on these is really good, and it's been winter here in the UK and we've had a lot of rainfall, and these have held up really well. We've got some steep hills around here which I've been running up as well, and in the rain sometimes the roads are more like rivers than they are roads, and these hold up really well. Just looking at them now, there's little scuff marks. These have done over 200 miles, I think 210 miles these have done, and the tread is holding up really well, I have to say. I have no worries about taking these out in any weather. The tread is always going to hold well, and yeah, for 200 miles, I mean, there's one little nick here, but apart from that, they look really, really good state. So yeah, the tread on these is absolutely wicked. The next thing is the laces. These laces are great. They're quite wide and thin. They're a really good length, so you can double knot them if you need to, but they're not going to be like trailing behind you, because some running shoes can have really long laces and you feel like you need to almost like tie them about 5 times, otherwise they're going to be trailing behind you for miles. But no, these are really good. They bind really well, and also you can grip them with gloves on, which is really nice. Especially recently around here, it's been really cold, and I've been wearing gloves with these. I've been wearing gloves when I'm running, and I have been able to tie these when running. However, I mean, it's not often that I have to re-tie these out on the run, even in the pouring rain. The laces on these hold really well. They bind great, which is really good. So yeah, overall the laces on these are great. Another thing I like about these is the heel. The heel is incredibly comfy on these shoes. So they say that they've basically added cushioning in here to stop Achilles pressure, and I find that actually it works really well. If I have ever done a big week of running and I'm finding that actually my Achilles is getting a little bit sore, these are like my go-to for my next run, because I find that, okay, yeah, my Achilles is getting a little bit sore, my calves are getting a bit tight, especially if it's cold. These are a really good shoe that they just alleviate some of that pressure. So that's really nice, and they're really good. They hold your heel in place really well. That's really nice. I do really like the heel on these shoes. That's 3 things that I really like about these shoes. Let's touch on a couple of dislikes, because there are a few things that I do dislike about this shoe. So I said about how comfy the heel is, but unfortunately I don't feel that way about the rest of the shoe. I actually think these are quite uncomfortable. I find pretty much anywhere from the ankle forward not great. I think it's very tight in the midfoot. I don't have the wide version. That may be why. I do have quite wide feet, so I probably should have got the wide version. They are half a size up, but still around the midfoot it is very tight. And I'm often find that when I first put them on, I have to really adjust the tongue a lot just to kind of like make them a bit more comfortable. But yeah, I find that these give me blisters like mad. So Hoka say that these are an everyday run shoe and you can pretty much just run in them every day. I find if I use these more than 3 days in a row, my feet are covered in blisters, just absolutely covered. And in places that I've never had blisters before, like right in like I sort of seem to pick up blisters from here. I get it in the arch of my foot, on my big toe, on my little toe, actually like underneath on the ball of my foot. I just find these they just give me hundreds of blisters, which is really annoying. So I never run in these multiple days in a row. Yeah, which I think is a real shame. The other thing is I get lots of hot spots in this on my feet. Like my feet get really warm in these, so they say they've got all this airflow. I don't think it works. These do get really warm, even in winter here. I find that I'll wear these and my feet get too hot, which is a shame. So yeah, I'd say that the airflow is a dislike for these. They just doesn't quite cut it. I mean, it looks like with this mesh design, it looks like they should have a lot of airflow, but I just don't find that they do. Another thing is the midsole on these. They don't let me run how I want to run. I find that this shoe fights you. If you run and heel strike and roll, you're probably gonna like this shoe a lot. However, I forefoot strike a lot. It's how I prefer to run. I prefer to run sort of like up on my toes, sort of leaning forward a bit, rather than heel striking. And it's not that generally I think one's better than the other. I just like to be up further on the ball of my foot, and I find that this shoe fights you. It wants you to land on your heel and roll through the stride. So if that's how you run and you heel strike, you'll probably really get on with these. However, I just find that I have to fight the shoe. I have to constantly be thinking all the time, like, right, is my foot striking how I want it to? Otherwise, I just find that my technique gets a bit rubbish, and I find that if I heel strike too much, I get lots of pain in my knee, so I don't like that. The toe box, again, this comes down to the airflow issue again. I get, obviously, lots of blisters on my toes. I find it quite cramped and very warm. I think the toe box is generally the most uncomfortable part of this shoe. And I also, yeah, I find that when I take my foot out of the shoe, especially after a long run, that I'm basically like my toes are all a bit cramped up. I pretty much can't do anywhere over 12 miles in these. I think 12 miles is about the limit, otherwise just blisters like all over my feet. And then my final dislike is just the height of them. It's a very high shoe. There's a lot of cushioning, and I think basically Hoka say that these are a balanced shoe, but I'm pretty sure that like what Hoka says is a balanced shoe for every other shoe company is a highly cushioned shoe. Hoka seem to go absolutely mental. They go in on the cushion, don't they? So yeah, I find these really high, but also I find that you can slightly roll your ankle a little bit easier in these because you're sitting that much higher, and when these move, you're sort of like your center of gravity is like maybe like a touch higher. I feel like it's really noticeable in these shoes, and I feel like when I put them on, I mean, I'm not gifted with height, so they make me taller, which I mean, not complaining, but yeah, it's one of those things that when I'm out running, sometimes I feel a little bit unstable in these. Although the heel keeps you very like locked into the shoe, sometimes they're just a little bit unstable, and it makes me want to slow down a little bit. So that basically brings me on to one last point, which is a point that I'm unsure about, which is the looks. Sometimes I look at these shoes and think, oh yeah, they look really nice, and sometimes I just think no. So they have like 8 different colours, and I only like 2 of them. I think the other 6 are pretty hideous. I think that about a lot of Hoka shoes. I think a lot of them don't look great. I mean, it's so subjective, so you might absolutely love them. I'm not a massive fan. I think this is the best colour they offer. I can't remember what colour it is, and I looked on their website today and I couldn't find this colour on there, so they might not even do this colour anymore. But yeah, I think that's a shame. So how do I use this shoe? So basically, this is my like recovery day shoe. So I have one main recovery run every week, and I use these shoes for it because there's a lot of cushioning on them. The recovery run isn't that long; it's usually less than 8 miles. So I basically take it really easy, which means that I'm not pushing the pace. I'm not worried about rolling an ankle. I'm taking it easy so I can think about like my forefoot striking. It's not a super long run, so I'm not going to get fatigued and then start really falling into that heel strike. So for me, as a recovery day shoe, these are really good, especially if it's a really long week and you've got a lot of sort of like, you've got maybe your calves are starting to act up or anything like that. It does relieve on the Achilles. That is really nice. I really do like that. I think that is the absolute best thing about this shoe is the heel. It is extremely comfy. So yeah, for me, these are recovery day shoes. Will I be buying another pair? I doubt it. I've done, yeah, as I said, 210 miles in these. I'll probably take them up to about 500 miles, see how they look. If I can push them to like 600-700 miles, then I will. But yeah, I mean, in general, I probably won't buy another pair of these. But for recovery day and just putting some miles, having something different on your feet to kind of like relieve any sore spots if you get them, yeah, I would say these are a good shoe. So try them out, see what you think. If you have tried them, drop me a comment, let me know. You might love them, but for me, they're just not my favourite shoe. I am still going to continue to use them on recovery day, but I won't be using them for anything else. So yeah, please do let me know what you think. Give the video a like, slap a comment down below, let me know if you think I'm wrong about anything, or if you think I should try any other of the Hoka shoes, because this is the only one I've tried so far. And yeah, if you would like to subscribe to the channel, that'd be brilliant. I'm going to be doing a load more reviews. I'm going to actually get on top of it because I've been sort of letting them slide recently, but I'm going to get on top of it. And I'm also doing a weekly vlog, which is all around my training for a 100-mile ultra marathon, where I will be towing a drum kit, which is all a little bit mad, but it's all for the incredible charity, which is Cardiac Risk in the Young. They are an absolutely amazing charity. So if you do want to follow along, and if you would donate to that charity, that would be absolutely wonderful. So yeah, the subscribe button is just below the video, as I'm sure you know. But thank you very much for watching. I've got a few more reviews coming up over the next couple of weeks, so I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers. It has that's hard to say.